Hello, welcome to another episode of A Transplant Tale. I'm your host, Sarah Adedeji, and I'm here with my guest, Miss Buckner. Hey, yes, I call her Miss Buckner. We'll get into that later. But I guess to the people, you can be Jennifer.
To the people, I can be Renae.
Okay, you can be Renae to me. So, how are you?
I'm fine. Busy, booked and busy.
Yeah, so thank you
A
for
little overwhelmed, a lot overwhelmed some days. But I'm blessed, I guess, very fortunate, I feel like.
Amen. Well, thanks
Yeah.
for making time for little old me.
Like, I was like, I gotta do it. It was so crazy. You have no idea. I don't even know how this happened, but I'm glad it did. I'm glad I'm here. And thank you for being patient with me.
Of
I appreciate that.
course. So, tell the people where you were born and then where you've lived.
Oh, wow. So I was born in Jackson, Mississippi, and I was raised in. Well, I was born in Jackson, Mississippi because I was like a preemie baby or whatever. But my birth home place is the Delta, Greenville, Mississippi, in the surrounding areas. So I've lived in the Delta like most of my life, and then I moved when I was young to Memphis, Tennessee, and I spent a few years there. Um, I moved back to the Delta area and continued to move around there when I was like, I don't know, 14, something like that. And then when I graduated from high school, from Indianola High School, or Gentry High School in Indianola, Mississippi, which is like another sister town, I went to Ole Miss. Like I went to the University of Mississippi, and I spent 4 years there and as undergrad. And after that, I moved to Houston, Texas in
You
2007 after I graduated.
Oh wow! I didn't realize this was your second time. Then. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Yeah, this is
I'll
my
let you
second
finish.
time here. This is like, no, it's okay. This is me coming back home.
Yeah.
So, like, at the time, I was actually moving out east. And then my son's father, he wasn't ready for me to move that far. And so he said, I know this place. I was like so ready to go from Mississippi, like by that time. And he was like, and I was getting ready to move to Virginia Beach with a friend of mine. And he told me, he was like, I know this place you can go to. It's Houston, Texas, and if you like, just stay there for 6 months. If you don't like it, then you can like move anywhere you want to. And so I took him up on the offer. He moved me out here, and it was like the rest was history. I loved it. Like I was like so committed to staying here. I just loved it. I loved the vibe. I liked the fact that it was a big city, but it had a country appeal because I'm a Southern girl. Even though I'm a city girl, I grew up in the country, but I was like um, shaped by the city. So I'm a country girl at heart, but like up here, it's all city slicker. So I like the fact that I could have the best of both worlds here at the time because it's nothing like that now. It's like totally different from what it was 15 years ago.
Wow.
In any event, I moved here in 2007, and then I started my career. I started like, post graduation jobs. And I was working like these little jobs to, get to where I was like just to try to get settled here. And then like I found my dream job. At the time it was my dream job. It was writing for the Houston Chronicle,
Wow.
right? And so I was writing these like little job commercials. I was doing the script, the templates for these job commercials. It was just such a dream job to me after having worked all these other, little corporate jobs to get to that point. And as I entered the world of writing, which was like my dream, right? I got pregnant. I found out I was pregnant and I was so sick. And then I had to like eventually I had to quit. Um,
Oh,
it was such a beautiful job. Like I was working from home
wow.
and I was working in the city. I worked, downtown in the Chronicle building. It was just it was a dope job. And when I got pregnant, I was just one of those people who suffer from peremesis or periemesis is I think what it's called, like all day sickness, not just
Yeah.
morning. Yeah, so I couldn't get out of bed. It was horrible. And so I ended up moving back to Mississippi because I couldn't work.
Right.
I moved there with his father, who was on the bench at the time. We were long distance relationship. He was a judge and he was on the bench. I moved there to be with him and um, just to be there, through pregnancy. And then like I was so antsy to get back to Houston. And so as soon as I had my baby, because I was trying to get everybody to drive me back to have my baby here, because he was conceived here,
Right.
but he was born in Mississippi.
Mhm.
So but I was thankful that he was born in Mississippi because he was born by a family doctor who was good
Oh,
friends with his dad,
mm.
and he was just like a doctor that everybody that had to live a black doctor who had delivered everybody's children.
Oh,
So
that's perfect.
and then we ended up having a pediatrician who was also black because Greenville is full of like black scholars, even though like black professionals, even though it's like a small town, it's really like it was rich with like black professionals and black, experts, lawyers, doctors, everybody's black,
That's
right?
awesome.
So his pediatrician was black. You actually remind me of her.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I just thought about it. Like
Wow.
literally, you remind me of his pediatrician. Swear to God, I
Mhm.
forget her name, but swear to God. But
Right.
anyway, so we spent like maybe a month, and I was ready to go. So I don't even think he had his first set of shots. I came back to Houston, and we got established here. And I was really like nervous because I was a new mommy. I didn't want to go to work. I had such like paralysis. I didn't know I didn't want to release my baby into the world, especially a city that I didn't, as much as I love Houston, like I don't trust these people.
Yeah.
And I wasn't putting him in a daycare. So I decided to stay at home and like be broke and, be depressed because I was going through like postpartum and stuff like that. It was really like sad. But I just knew I couldn't release him.
Right.
So I ended up just like being in grad school. While I'm at home, I'm going to grad school and raising him through like infancy and stuff. And then I found out my mom was ill, and my mom lived at the time in Bentonville, Arkansas, and she had also transplanted away from Mississippi by way of my brother, who worked for the airlines. He was
Oh,
an airline mechanic. So because he traveled a lot, he would go to these cities, and then that one city, he was like, "I love it. I want you to come here." So he took our family from Mississippi, and then he just transplanted everybody there. And so a lot of my family started like migrating there or whatever. And then so that's how we were introduced to Arkansas because we
gotcha.
didn't know we had no connection
Mhm.
otherwise. And so while she was there, she moved there like right as I like entered college, I guess, like right after I enrolled in college or something, maybe a year or so.
Mhm.
And after he I was I after when he was an infant, I found out that she was terminally ill, that she had a chronic illness, and she was getting sick like constantly. And so um I decided, since I was not like really engaged in Houston at the time, that we would pack up everything and move to Bentonville, Arkansas, which was like not on my list of things to do.
Yeah. It is nice there though.
Oh, it's a beautiful place. It
Didn't
was
know
just
it existed.
on my like list.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not on the radar at all. Like, I had visited there and stuff. I would visit her all the time throughout college and stuff, but it was just not what I intended to do. And so I moved there, me, my son, his dad, because I wanted, partly because I wanted my mom to like spend time with my son, like, before it was too late. And then I also wanted to be able to take care of her because, like, as hard as it might be to believe, I'm like her most responsible child.
Oh, no, I'm joking. I believe it.
Seriously, I'm like the only, like the one that everybody depends on, right? I'm the baby girl of the family, but I'm like, you know, um, I don't know, like that. What was her name in Soul Food? The one, the attorney lady who everybody just,
I can see her face, but I can't think of her
yeah,
name. It's terrible, but I see her face. I know you're talking.
yeah, yeah.
Is it?
So
I think her name was Terry on there or something.
I think it was Terry. So like, yeah, I'm kind of the Terry of the family. So I went, I went to be with my mom. I went to, introduce my son to her, and we stayed with her for a while, and we just, I started to like integrate slowly into back to work because I had had enough of being like a stay-at-home mom, and I was just, but and I was more comfortable because my mom and my family was there.
Right.
So that's when I was introduced to like a Walmart corporate. I ended up working there, and then yeah, I was just over it after about a year or so. And
Oh, a year.
I was ready to go back to Houston, and I
That's,
kind of told my mom like, "Yo, I'm going back. What you gonna do?" I
yeah.
mean, her husband and stuff and family was there, but okay. Anyway, um, and so I left Bentonville, and we went. My son's father ended up getting a job as an attorney, a staff attorney for Little Rock for the state, and so that's how we ended up in Little Rock,
Which is where you met me.
where I met you. Yay, yay! So we ended up there, and I was just saying, I just really was just rediscovering myself, like figuring out what I wanted to do, with my life.
Right.
I sort of had the luxury because I was a stay-at-home mom again. And it's not like he was like rushing me to get out. So I did a little subbing, like I was a substitute. Um, and it really, honestly, I was incubated for long enough to where I could like figure me out and nurture my son, like at the most impressionable moments of his life. So I was able to do that. Like luckily I was able to do that. Like I'm thankful for being able to do that. And then like I started subbing for the school districts a little while, like a few days a week. And then I founded my own nonprofit. I went back to grad school to work on like my second master's, and then I started my own nonprofit at the time because I just needed something to do, and it was kind of bellowing out of me. And I was still trying to figure myself out. I knew I wanted to help people. I just didn't know, and I just knew. So I just did it on my own terms with the nonprofit. And so that's when Shards of Glass was born in 2013. Yeah. So, and the rest is kind of, I mean, would you like me to continue or, because it can
We'll
go
take
on.
a break and then talk about how you got back to Houston.
Like,
But I do
okay,
want
great. Because I'm like, this is a whole autobiography.
to. That's the English teacher in you.
Right.
Because
Like, don't let me lose.
right. So we still have to get to how you even became an English teacher because I didn't even know, like, all that was there. So I do
Right.
want
'Cause
to read.
that was not the first, that was not my intention at all.
Mhm. Wow.
So, like, my intention was totally different from
Mhm.
teaching. Like, teaching was not like on the radar for me. It was just something I fell into because
Yeah.
I realized it was like a need as I was like subbing and stuff. And I've always been like in my younger years, I lived with my godparents. They owned a daycare for the entire time I lived with them. So I was always around like kids. And so I worked in the daycare. And when I was in college, I was a substitute teacher as well. So I was just, but it was never my intention to like make it a permanent situation. my goal was to like go corporate. Um, so yeah. But so how did I get back to Houston?
Yeah.
So anyway, so here I am like 20 20, I don't know what 20. My goal was always to move back to Houston because actually I was actually headed back to Houston a year after I was lived in Bentonville, right? I was headed back. I told my mom I was gone. But then we get the call from his dad, like he has a job in Little Rock. That's how we ended up there. We were not supposed to be there. So I always said, like, when Kaden reached middle school, or no, it was elementary school. Like once, like, yeah, middle school. Like once you finish 5th grade, we're going back, because like it was just always a place for me that I felt like most at home. Because like I am a person who has moved around a lot, like probably hundreds of times.
Wow.
Like I went to 15 different schools
Wow.
from from pre-K all the way to high school, 15 to 16 different schools.
Wow. How did that
So
happen? I mean, you
uh
don't gotta tell us all your business. I'm just just confused.
kinda hard not to, if you ask me. I'll just say this: we were not a military family.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So that's another day for another episode.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yes, in any event, because of that though, like the bug was always in me. So I could move anywhere, I could cope anywhere, I could. Whereas a lot of people had hard time like moving, um moving. Like a lot of people had a hard time, like even like wrapping their brain around like moving to another state. I had done it like 15 times already, I mean, so it was like I had learned the skill like early on. So
Right.
I knew what to do, and I knew what, and I also learned the benefit like of moving, like what it take, like if there is a true benefit to move, then I know like the need, if the need to move, the benefit outweighs, where you are, then it's always going to be a yes for me, no matter what I'm doing, where I am. It also helped me to like learn people. It also helped me to be able to like meet and interact with people, and make friends. Like it taught me how to be social. It gave me like a hyper social, personality. Even though I'm not like the most social person all the time, like I am, but I'm not. Like I'm actually pretty private.
Yeah.
But my, facade is very social, because at a young age I had to like adapt to, the likelihood of having to meet new people like every 3 months. It maybe every 2 or 3 months I was in a different school setting. So I had to like reestablish myself every single time. So therefore, I learned to do that. And then as I got older, learning how to like pick up and move stuff, like, learning how to like compartmentalize, organize, because I know we were moving. We're not going to be here long, you know. And then the military came. And so, with the military, you're always moving. Like you're always moving something, whether you're moving to another assignment, you're moving to another unit, you're just always moving, even if it's in the moment, you're just always on the move. So movement to me is like probably the theme of my life, if that makes sense. So in any event, um, every time I decided to move, something always happened in Little Rock. There was always a major event, but like the last major event was my mom passing, because I ended up like taking her. I mean, were you there? What did we work
I think
together
so.
at the
It
time?
either happened like right before. I know it happened around that time. It was either
It
right
might have been
before
like right
or
before you got there,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
I was 16. Were you
Yeah.
there in 16?
Yeah, I started at the end of like the fall of 16.
So you,
So
oh
yeah,
yeah,
it
so
just
that
happened.
was it. Then you started right after I had lost her, which was a very like it was a very like that was a crazy time in my life. It was I
Yeah.
don't it's indescribable because I took care of her for a long time. Before that, I was her caretaker, and then like um up until her passing or whatever. And so after that, you met me. I was a totally just it was a different person. And it was just that was just you met me at the right time because like it was you feel like a void. You did so much. Like seriously, it was so fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you were just like somebody I could pick on and bully and stuff too, but
Wow.
still, no, no, I'm not talking to you, Siri. Anyway, so my goal was to leave. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna finish like because I would tell you, I don't think I ever remember would I tell you that I'm leaving
Hmm.
and I'm going to Houston?
Well, you didn't say Houston, but I knew you didn't want to be there.
Well, no. It was always Houston though. Like it was always Houston. I don't know if you remember, but you probably didn't. In any event, the goal was to leave like when he got to fifth grade or when he finished fifth grade. But then the kids came. So because my brother died before my mom died, right? And then right as he was going into middle school, it was when I encountered the whole um DHS situation with the kids. And so that prolonged my time there because I had to like go through the process of, custody and foster care and all paperwork and all that stuff. And so it was just a prolonged thing. And so by the time they got here, um, and I had to settle with them and figure them out. And then COVID hit. It was always something like that was happening. And then so like fast forward to like 2022 rather. 2021, I went under contract to buy a house, and something in me knew that I didn't want to like stay there, so I canceled the contract. We moved to like a tiny apartment because it was like, okay, if we move here, it's going to make us comfortable. Which is like, ironically, it was the first apartment complex we moved to into Little Rock. So
Wow.
it was the last apartment complex we lived. So we moved to this apartment. It wasn't tiny, tiny. It was, but it was just compared to where we were, you know, it was like this is a reminder that this is not permanent, it's temporary. Well, we ended up living there almost 2 years. We moved there in 2020, and then 2022, like 21, 22, like high school, the school was like the worst. Like public school was like getting so bad, like the political context of it all and everything. And I was just ready to be done with it. So I was ready to retire out of public school, and I founded, I incorporated my for-profit business, Charles of Glass Consulting and Management Solutions.
Yeah.
And so that was like my baby. And so I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna, take something part time and I'm just gonna pour everything into my own business. And so, but people kept pulling me back into the classroom. And that last year at Mills High School, I knew it would be my last year because it was to the point where I could not even like I couldn't take. It wasn't that it was that bad, like, but it was bad for me mentally. It
Right.
was just like, I gotta go. Like, it's time. I cannot spend another day in the classroom because it's not going to be good for me or the student.
Right.
It was time for me to like move on. And so I started in May of 2022. I started searching for houses. I got me a real estate agent out here, and I literally it was like a full time job for like I don't know a month or two, 8 hours a day. I was looking for like houses, neighborhoods, school districts, because that was my main thing. Because where we came from, Little Rock. It didn't matter like how good the neighborhood was. The school was always trash, like because trash was taking over the school district. Like that was my main thing. My kids were not learning, which is which is the main reason, like the main driver of our relocation. They were regressing,
Mhm. Yeah.
and so I knew like I had to literally like save them. So it was time for us to go. You know,
Mhm.
so we left. We I got the I started looking. I got my agent. She did all the footwork. I did all the computer work. We were a team. She made it happen. She was so patient and kind and loving, and I respect and appreciate her for that. I manifested my house. Um, and thankfully, I was just in a place financially where I could just pick up. Like, I literally packed my entire house, me and my kids by myself. Me, my kids, and my sister, and the kids in the neighborhood. They saw us moving. They
Wow.
just started. It was like daycare kids.
Oh,
They would just knock on the door. I heard you need some help.
oh, I
It would be like
love
literal. It was a 5 year old with. I never will forget this.
that.
A 5 year old with an infant, like a shoulder baby,
Oh my
knocked on my door and was like, "Can I help?" I'm like, "Yes, but you have to put the baby somewhere."
God.
It
So
was
precious.
so funny. It was so cool. It was so like refreshing
Yeah.
because I had no help. Like I didn't ask anybody for help. I didn't ask anybody. I had, hired movers for a couple of hours to move our heavy stuff. Everything else we did. My U-Haul was 20 foot long.
Wow.
I drove a 20-foot U-Haul from Little Rock to Houston.
See, you better than me. I didn't want to drive the
I
Yukon.
didn't have a choice. Like, it's not, no, there was no want in the situation. There was no choice,
Yeah,
right?
well, you have 3 kids, so
I had to literally, and I had to leave half my kids here,
oh,
put put a couple of them in the U-Haul, kid and a dog,
yeah.
me, Kaden, the dog, rode the U-Haul. I
Wow.
had to fly back to Little Rock, pick my car up, put another cab on it, like another
Mhm.
trailer,
Right.
drive that back. Like it was excruciating. It was a lot of work, but we made it happen. Like, and that's why I tell people, like, I did it by myself. I didn't have like a man help me. I didn't have, because I didn't want to like, by that time I had sort of detached myself from Little Rock. You know what I mean? I was not um involved with anybody there, and mentally I was already gone. So it was just a matter of, and like all of my like my friend group and my circles, you remember my circle. Like that was long dissipated. And so I was kind of like more of like a popular loner when it came to like, being out. Everybody knew me, but I was always with myself. I got into a point where I was just like with me. I had to learn how to be with me. I had to learn who I was. I had to, learn to love myself and just, and that was like a testament. So, yes, I moved here by myself with my children and no help. So I know if I can do it, because I'm no bigger than as a matter of fact, um, to add to it, to further complicate things, the end of 20 May 22, I knew I was out. I knew I was gone. I knew I wasn't going back. So like I said, I put all of my energy and efforts into like moving here. Um, so I just had my resume up. Wasn't really looking for anything because I had the money to like I had enough saved to just be comfortable at least, for a few months. You know what I'm saying? Not rich or nothing, but just to be comfortable for a little bit until I got my stuff together. Well, the university, I guess they saw my resume online, and so they contacted me. Like it was a international university. They contacted me, and basically, to make a long story short, they literally begged me to take the job. I
Well,
didn't want to take it because I was still traumatized from like public school, like still very traumatized. I'm like, I'm done with teaching. I don't want anything. Like I'm good, da da da. So they managed to like get me there full time because they were very accommodating to my needs, my wants, and everything.
and where did you post your resume for them to see it?
Um, I think they found me on Indeed
Okay.
or LinkedIn, one of the two.
Okay.
And so I ended up actually was still working for Little Rock, not Little Rock School District, for a school district. Oh, while on medical leave because I ended up having knee surgery
Oh wow.
in August of 22.
Okay.
The university picked me up and I told them I was like, well, I'm not there yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm not there physically yet, but I'm moving. And they were like, we'll let you work online. You just need. So I was
Wait,
working
go ahead.
online at the university out here in Houston, and then still, on the roster as a teacher of record for the school district I was working for on medical leave.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. It
Not not the recovery part, but being able to be.
was, the recovery was. This is the thing. How fortunate I was. I moved a month after knee surgery.
Wow.
I lived on the
So
second
you drove a 20-foot U-Haul a month after? Oh
with
my!
a big knee brace on,
Wow.
and I spent like 12 hours a day for like 3 weeks packing the U-Haul, packing stuff up, moving down 2 flights of stairs, and then my home that I have here is a 2-story. So I moved down to. I was on the second floor at in Little Rock in Maumelle, second floor apartment. Moved everything fresh off of knee surgery with a knee brace. Drove with a knee brace. So determination,
It's an
uh,
understatement. What?
and I mean, when you're, to me, like, will is a big motivating factor. When you have the will to do something, like, there is nothing you can't do. Physicality does not matter.
That's
It
awesome.
doesn't matter. So, like, I say to everybody, I moved post surgery, post knee surgery. I packed my own things. I moved my own things. And I drove 10 hours. I made several trips actually for the next 8 months. After I moved, I was still making trips back and forth, and back and forth because my daughter has orthodontist there. I have a doctor there. We still make trips there because her orthodontist is. We both had braces, and then I made them take mine off before, but hers are we're still on. So yes, if I can do it, anybody can do it because I'm like no, I'm not. I mean, I am Superwoman, but
Like you must be, because I'm telling you, like I literally just drove the U-Haul like 9 minutes, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I
oh
can.
my god,
So you
really?
made it something. Because I can't see. Like,
Me neither. I'm blind,
well, no, I mean that too, but like,
and I'm short.
yeah, but I'm saying like, there's no rearview mirror or anything, and it's like so big, and I'm like, I don't know, like if there's
Go
cars.
straight.
Your blind spot is just huge. Like,
But the way I see that, the way I use that to my advantage because it's like, okay, they see me. I don't have to see them.
that's
So as long as I'm going straight and I put my signal on, I'm good. And that wasn't the first time I drove a U-Haul either. So
so
that wasn't my first time. It was my first time like doing it alone.
right.
That was a thing. So all I know is that once I got here, the exhale was so big.
I can imagine.
The exhale was so big. And now, like, being here 2 years, being back, working at 2 universities, still building my business here. Um, a disabled veteran
Yeah.
as well, thankfully. I mean, you know, the money part. uh,
Did that
I'm
help
just,
like with buying your house and stuff too? I mean, I guess obviously.
it does majorly for sure. It helps with a lot of things, but I'm recently disabled, so I haven't like experienced all of the benefits.
That's
I'm looking forward,
fair.
definitely looking forward to it. But like right now, the sky's the limit. I'm in a new chapter in my life, even from 2 years ago. So this is a brand new chapter. High cholesterol,
Same.
42. So at this point, I'm just trying to preserve myself and to get my oldest to college and through the military. Just I'm just trying to make it to the next um what is it called? Like mile marker. I don't know.
Milestone.
Yeah. Like in life, with him, with the kids and just trying to enjoy life as much as I possibly can. So yeah.
That's great. So I do have a question though. So you mentioned when you went to Houston the first time, it was like the city with the country feel, but you said it's not like that now. So
It
what
is
has
not
changed like from
it
that
was
time to now?
honestly, I honestly when I first got here, I'm not gonna lie, I felt tricked
Uh oh.
because I had put so much into coming back,
Right.
right? And when I got here, I was like, "Are you serious? Like, is this what I came? Like, I came back to this? Traffic was horrendous.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna." And I moved to a completely different part, so I was like, it was like really um learning Houston all over again because it was like another world
Yeah.
from where I moved. I lived in West Houston,
Okay.
which was my spot. That was my thing. That was my area. And then like moving to Northwest Houston, which is the Cypress area, man,
Right.
it was just a totally different world. But it was better for the kids.
Right.
This is we live in a safer area. The school district is like one of the top districts in the state. So, which is it was intentional.
Right.
Everything about this move was intentional. So that's why it's worked out. It's like, that's another thing like that that helps me to like cope during hard times. It's like you figured all this out and it worked out. You know what I'm saying? Like you intentionally made sure they went to good schools. They're doing well. You intentionally found a house online that
What
you
did you
never saw
use?
in
Like
person.
the Zillows or like how did you?
I did the Zillows. I did how was it home.com or house
Homes. Yeah, I think so.
homes.com. It was one of the two. It was Zillow, homes.com. It was one more. But I would take
Okay.
my real estate agent was so mad. Everybody was mad, like, because
What?
I'm a control freak. You know I am. I'm OCD.
Yes.
So they wanted me to like, give them the houses, let them find the houses. I'm like, no, let me find the houses. I send them to you. And then let's do it this way, because I know what I want.
Right.
And so if you're gonna send me a list of 100 houses, I have to look at all the, instead I can just find my own houses and then send it. So we did it both ways, and then my way worked better
Yeah.
because my way found me the
That's
house I wanted.
yeah.
And my real estate agent, because I came out here one day, like me and Kaden, we came out just to like scout
Okay.
in June of 22. It was horrible.
Uh-oh.
I was like, this is not a good idea. So I went back and got back online because I'm like, this is the only way. It's too big. It's too much.
And traffic.
But what I learned about the traffic was that number one, when you live life on the terms I live life on, like I'm blessed enough to have like invested in myself enough to where I can live on my own terms, like with my credentials and stuff like that. When I take jobs, I take them on my own terms. I don't I don't work on people's terms. So if it's not on my terms, I'm not going to take the job. So the way my hours are set up, I don't have to deal with traffic.
That's nice. That's
I
real
work
nice.
um 2 times a week. My main campus is 40 minutes away. I go
um,
there two days a week, 2 days out of the week. And then my other campus, the new one, is 30 minutes away. It's right down the street, right down the freeway.
right
So,
down the street, 30 minutes. Wow.
oh
But
yeah, because
in Texas, that is right down the street, but it's just
literally
funny that
that
he.
is right down the street. Right. Even an hour is right down the street in like in
Oh,
Houston.
crazy.
Oh, it's just
I'm
an hour
just
away.
Justin, too, in Texas.
Literally. Right.
3 miles
Right.
is right down the street. That sounds far.
or 3 miles will take you 26 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, when you look on the GPS, it's like 26 minutes, 3.9 miles.
Right.
Like, I hate it. I hate it. I had to show my daughter one day. We were in Little Rock, and I said, "Look, look." She was like, "What?" I said, "It says 10 miles, 9 minutes." It, I couldn't believe it because I was used to like seeing 10 miles, 90 minutes. You know, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
So anyway, the traffic I learned to like I said, because I have more control of my life. Um, I pretty much maneuver how I want to. So, and because I know the city, I know I know how to move through the city without, I deal with traffic when I want to deal with traffic. But on a normal day, I shop and I do everything in my area. If I want to go, I go. My night, my social life is in another part of the city a lot of times, and it's usually, like I said, I deal with traffic when I want to. It's not like it doesn't take over my life because my schedule is conducive to. I work from home most days. Well, not since I took this other job, but I'm done with work every day by 12 p.m.
That's nice. That's real
So
nice.
I drive to that other campus for one class,
Okay.
3 days a week, which is that part I don't like. So we're reworking my schedule, but it's not bad. Like it's
Yeah.
not bad. It's just me. I'm spoiled.
That's fair.
So everybody's like, and they're like, oh, I'm like, I'm gonna be out of the house 5 days a week, and they're like, and that's a regular job, and I'm like, no,
Me, I don't want to do
literally, I've been like so spoiled. I've been working from home for like almost 3 years,
it.
and so to take me out of the house even for 1 hour, how dare you?
Especially with the traffic. Like driving 30 minutes for 1 hour is a lot.
The traffic ain't even bad because I'm going the other way. Like I'm
Okay.
going to the country.
That's
It's not even literally. I'm telling you, it's not even bad. Like I'm
okay.
just spoiled.
That's fair.
So, but I worked to be able to do that. Like, I mean, you know how hard we work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know we were in the trenches. And so the time and the development, that I put into that, like that time in my life, it's paid off to 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 put me here where I am today, and I'm thankful for that. So, um, that is the big difference. Like it's really traffic. A lot of city slickers are here now, whereas it used to be like predominantly country folk. Okay, it was a country folk with big city heart because Houston has a lot of moving parts. Like it's like 20 different like stereotypical cities in one area. Like, you got the country western side, you got the urban side, you have and then mixed in that is like every single culture that was ever made in the world.
Yeah.
Like very multicultural place,
Yeah.
which I love because everybody thinks, oh, it's just a lot of Mexicans. And it's like, you get here and it's like, yes, there are a lot of Hispanic people or Latina X people, but there are so many more cultures than just black, white, and Spaniards.
Right.
Like so many different cultures, and I like that because you know how I am. I like to learn about people. I like to meet people, and I like to learn new cultures and stuff. So that works for me because I work for a Turkish
Wow.
um, university. So many of my students, they come from like Pakistan, Turkey. Um, they come from all over the world,
Right.
South Asia, um, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Africa, all over Africa, Senegal. I just have a lot of foreign students. Uh, so, and then all of my colleagues, 95% of them are foreign.
Wow.
So I work in a very international environment.
Is that not the name? International University?
Yes, I
That's not the
love
name
it.
of it. It's just the.
No, it's not the name of it.
Okay.
It should be. I think it was once, but it's called North American University.
Okay.
It's a very tiny college. It's not known for anything
Yeah.
but internationalism and education. And I love it. I love the fact that it's small, it's quaint, it's like intimate. Um, the classroom sizes are very small. So you're more, acquainted with the students. And but I'm a beast. I don't like have a whole lot of patience. I I love my students, but you know how I am about holding people accountable. So if they grown, it's even worse.
Absolutely.
My patience is even thinner now because my nerves is a little bad. And so they were already bad. Like so imagine now, like. But I love the fact I appreciate the fact that as a Black woman educator, um, that my student, I'm the first, I'm the English teacher in the building. So my students my international students are taking knowledge from me and taking it back to their country. And they're using my knowledge or the knowledge that I imparted in them to, build wherever they go.
Right.
So they have a piece of me with them. And I appreciate that. Like, I appreciate that because, with the stereotypes about Black folks and the list goes on. Like, so it's just, I'm thankful. I was the first Black English professor there. And then they hired another one 2 years after I got there, or a year after after I was there a year. So now there's two of us.
Well,
So we're the only two African American professors there. One is a PhD. She is a PhD. I am not. And I'm like the low man on the totem pole at my job. Everybody else is PhD.
so
So
you got to go work on it? No.
well, they call me Dr. Buckner, and I'm
Okay.
like, not yet,
Leave it.
not yet, but I appreciate it. But law school is my passion. Law school
Right,
is
right.
my destination.
Yeah.
Maybe a PhD too, though. Like I don't,
You can do
me,
your
I'm
JD.
a nerd. So I'm cool. Like once the kids are out the door, then we'll see. Hopefully, law school within the next 2 years. If I can get Caden graduated, and I can start the year he graduates,
Mm.
maybe. But it is in the near future. Like I'm going for sure.
Yeah.
So
You're great.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
I want to ask, what are you doing now that you're in Dallas? I mean, I know, of course, we'll have a side conversation, but
Yeah, so thankfully I'm still able to work for my nonprofit, not like my nonprofit, but the nonprofit that I was working for in Philadelphia. So working through that. So I'm remote working as well.
oh,
So thankfully I don't have to deal with the
nice.
traffic too much here because it's definitely right.
I
Because
love it.
yes, because the traffic here is definitely trafficking. When I'll go out, like I'll go get lunch or something, I'll be like, "Ooh, I see why I'm in the house most of the time." But that's good. And just enjoying
No,
and getting adjusted to the new environment, enjoying church and my family, and just having a good time.
so you're back close to your family now?
Yeah, so my mom's still like 8 hours away, but that's better than 18 and a half hours away. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
so I
Yes,
can get to
yes. Well, that's
raise them.
good to hear.
Yeah.
I taught you well.
Yes, yes, yes.
You
I love it.
I'm gonna take credit for everything, even the things that I don't take credit for.
I love it. I love it.
I growed you up.
Yes, yes.
That's that Southern girl. I growed you up.
I,
No, let me stop. Let me stop.
I
No,
like
I'm
it.
so proud of you.
Thank
Like
you.
so proud of you, and I'm looking so forward to seeing you and connecting, and even like maybe collaborating together on some things
Yeah,
because yeah, I mean we're close now.
yeah.
Hint, hint. Want to babysit? No, just playing.
Close to the world. No, I love your kids.
No, please don't. I get it.
Yeah,
I thank you though. Like I thank
yeah,
you for being
absolutely.
there. Like for him when he was when he needed it.
Yeah,
It was so I the memory though that is just like imprinted, burned in my brain. I don't think you know what I'm gonna say, but you probably do. Was that day I will never forget? We were in the classroom, and it was towards the end of the school year
yeah. I know what you go.
because y'all came in and y'all just knew y'all was going to save the world, and I tried to tell you.
Man, that was rough. A rough
It was
realization.
just laid on the table. I was like, it's okay. We've all been there.
It wasn't
I
okay.
think it was like the moment you realize that it was
We're not bigger than the system, not yet.
right. It's strong. The kids was kids, and okay, but we had so much fun with them.
Damn.
It was never a dull day. It was tiresome, but it was worth it for sure. I didn't want to leave Hall, so I think that was another motivating factor for me to leave, because after they broke us up,
Right.
it was very traumatizing. Like, we didn't get therapy for that. We had gone through trauma after trauma after trauma at Hall. Like, we didn't get therapy, we didn't get anything. So I suffered from PTSD just from that experience. Like, it was very traumatic. Even though, I loved it and I appreciate it, and I will never not appreciate being there. But it was like a trauma bonding situation. Like, we were trauma bonding every day. And I'm thankful. But after they cut us loose, it was just like, what do you do now? It was kind of sad, because that Hall was like my identity. The good, bad, and the ugly. So,
Those are good times.
yeah. But thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for making time and being here and sharing your story. And
Yes, ma'am. You can bleep out some of the stuff at this point. But yes, I look forward to seeing you in Dallas and in Houston, because we're definitely coming to Dallas. We're definitely coming to see you.
Yes.
For sure. And
Right.
tell your husband I said hi, and prepare him for me, because you gotta set it up. I don't want to hurt nobody. No, just playing. I'm sure he's a great guy, and I look forward to meeting him.
Absolutely.
I think that's what I was supposed to say.
Yes. Yes. He is.
The wrong stuff comes out first, and then the right stuff.
Yeah. I mean, they're both the truth. He's amazing, and I do have to prepare him for you.
When I learned that two things can be true at the same time. But yes, I'm looking forward to meeting him, though. Tell him I said hi, and I guess, do we end now? My battery is gonna die anyway.
Yes, thank you all so much for watching or listening to another episode of A Transplant's Tale. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of A Transplant's Tale. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. See ya.